Hello there, beautiful Virgo energies. Welcome to my Tarot Nook. I'm hoping all is well and good with you. Thank you for stopping in today. So this is going to be a no contact reading. Everything you need to know sort of reading with regard to your no contact situation. I'll focus on the energy that's coming through towards you though at this time for this reading. So we'll tap into what's going on with their thoughts, feelings, desires, emotions, what they don't want you to know, what they're hiding, what they're afraid of, what they're embarrassed about, whatever wants to show up in those regards, what their next moves will be, what to expect, and what are some advice the universe wants you to tune into or focus on for your well-being. All right, so Virgo, if this is your first time stopping by the channel, welcome. I do variety style readings here, so if you enjoy tarot, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. I upload regularly, and let me know, everyone, let me know in the comments, how's everyone doing? Okay, everyone is welcome here. This is a safe space for all of you. Also, I do have some playlists for the types of readings I do because I don't do the same reading every time I upload. I try to, change it up. However, this reading, it's only going to be 2 decks. In the past, I've used up to 6 or 7 decks. So this one is just more an oracle check-in with their vibe and energy and a tarot card reading for you guys. And that would be it. So again, I do appreciate you guys stopping in. We have damage here. We have daydreaming. We have a runner. We also have broken. All right. And we have dishonesty. So let's go ahead and tap. Let me just go ahead and make sure I don't mess this up. Let's go ahead and tap on in here, Virgo, and see what messages want to jump out for you. So with this whole dishonesty thing here, I don't know, my computer is this on showing me pop-ups in the middle of my recordings, but okay. So in terms of dishonesty, I feel like, something here, maybe honesty was like lacking in the past, or perhaps like something major has happened where there's been like a lot of, deceptions or lies. All right, it feels like, with damages here, both of you could have, put yourself in an experience where you're dealing with a lot of pain from the breakup, a lot of damaging emotional hurdles or struggles here. There could have been times where the hurt was very, very strong and it felt like, almost like physical, pain through the heart, like somebody's really just hurting from just the overall outcome here during this no contact. I feel like, there's a lot of reflection about the pain, the hurt, the struggles. And it does feel like there's a shared history here of like emotional struggles between you and this person. We do have some emotional cards in the on the tarot as well showing up. But it does feel like, there's a lot of things that were shared through the pain, through everything. There's still like a lot of good times that still come up to the top. Okay, there's something here where somebody might be a little quiet or feeling like they're not saying as much. So maybe, rather than focus on the pain, maybe somebody's outlook is to kind of, well, what if we fix something, or what if we heal something? Maybe the pain wouldn't be there as much, all right? But there's a lot of romanticizing your relationship between one another and towards one another, especially during even no contact. There's a lot of romanticizing things, maybe seeing things in a certain way, hoping for things to kind of get back on a certain track. All right, so this person, your ex here, Virgo, may spend like a lot of considerable time in a fantasy space with you, or in your, like, with you in their thoughts. All right, in terms of like what if, or what could be, what could have been. Okay, so there's some sort of an emotional attachment to you here that's still very hard to shake off. This person is struggling shaking that off. All right, so this is somebody that may continue to feel like they long for you, they desire you, and it could be just more of a, could evolve like more of a, an acceptance for like maybe reaching out, like maybe the more they think about you and the more they see themselves in your life or romanticize things, or just even, in their own thought how things could be different or improve in general, it kind of gives them the courage, or feel like it encourages them to want to like reach out or kind of tap in or remind you of something or send you like a text, or they, it puts them in that place that they feel like so strongly about that. But there's still some essence of no contact, so like aspects of reality are still kind of playing a factor here. You know, with the runner and the broken cards, it just feels like, you know, there's something here where maybe you or them have felt the need in the past where you needed to escape or escape from the relationship when things get tough, when things get to a very damaging point, things get very hard. Okay, so there could have been a pattern of running from commitment, but also from confrontation, like confronting the things head on. So I feel like not wanting to run anymore. It's just more like your ex might be thinking to face their issues head on, deal with things like in a very straightforward way, or just kind of get into a place where they may reach out, not to like run away, but to resolve whatever is like unfinished, like unfinished business or something like that. There's a sense of feeling shattered here. I do feel like there was a time for them when the breakup, you know, left them or you even feeling a little kind of shattered, empty, a little heartbroken here, a little scattered in that sense. There could have been something very significant that reached a breaking point for this to happen. It could have had a lot to do with like lies and dishonesty. All right, so it's kind of could have been like the straw that broke the camel's back here. So just kind of put things in a very, you know, no contact space for some of you, and it's been like that way for a while, and like, it doesn't have to be like that for all of you. But there's an acknowledgement here that wants to come through, like maybe acknowledging the past, being dishonest, or whatever caused the rift, to pave a way for like perhaps something more like open future together, or some type of an access to you. At least, you know, if they're worst case scenario and you're like, oh hell no, and that's what they're daydreaming about, Virgo. Don't come at me. I'm just putting out thoughts, okay? So, all right. Can we just say, let me just look at this real quick. I know, we're gonna read the cards, but look at this, look at this. King and Queen of Cups in the reverse, and also next to each other almost. I could have put this down here, but essentially, let's just keep it that way. But yeah, King and Queen is here, so this is wild. I do feel like both of them in the reverse, you know, major emotional imbalance here, some sort of a dysfunction, something that just is not functional in this relationship for you, this person. All right, it just feels like there could be a lot of emotional manipulation at the highest levels, problems with control, or unhealthy choices or dependencies. All right, so there's just a lot of issues when it comes to the emotional essence of things. Okay, so you know, this is somebody where it could be like your ex is dealing poorly with their emotions, okay, or kind of trying to, you know, be controlling or narcissistic, or whenever they're in their emotions and they do try to reach out, they maybe there's a sense of narcissism that comes through. The Queen feels like, you know, it's like the emotional state of things. It's a point of reflection, like how do we want to handle this? So it's kind of like a lot with that, with just those two showing up. But let's jump in here. Your ex's current energy is specifically the King of Cups reverse. This is a, you know, a water sign, Aquarius, or wow, Aquarius, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I'm leaning more towards Aquarius, Scorpio. But you know, this is something where your ex is struggling again, trying to keep things in control. They could be feeling a little overwhelmed or irritated, especially if they don't have access to you like the way they used to. Access doesn't necessarily mean like they're gonna call, you're gonna answer. Access could be anything: your social media, your just some aspects of you, or aspects of like keeping up with you through somebody, and they may not have as much control over that anymore. I do feel like this is somebody that can sometimes be emotionally kind of tough or mean or kind of like cold, you know, cold and calculated, unable to decide which direction to take. Okay, so it's kind of like there's some things with their emotions that they may not have a handle on, they cannot manage it correctly. Energetically speaking, I feel like, you know, this is somebody that could be like use their emotional like outbursts and stuff to kind of influence situations that deal with you and them. Like maybe it's just like the way you react to things, or how, you know, you kind of allow things to happen. They kind of take advantage of that, or they could kind of throw tantrums if they don't have access, like again, if you're not enabling their behavior. I do feel like, you know, this is somebody that just has a lot of hidden agendas. Okay, so it's kind of like they're in turmoil with themselves right now with the state of things, because things are not very consistent for them. All right, and so now we also have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. Their current thoughts about this breakup right now, Virgo. I feel like this is somebody that is feeling a lack of motivation or happy, exciting times, enthusiasm. towards moving on. They may not want to move on. They're struggling moving on, having a hard time. They may be canceling things that they're doing, or can't just like not being up to themselves, okay, a lot these days. They could be like a little bored, lacking interest in doing things overall, like they're lacking passion. There's a sense of delay here that's coming through, okay, in terms of like, you know, how they're thinking and feeling about things. It does feel like there could be just a delay in what they really, really want for processing things, because they're not fully processing this separation or no contact as a breakup or forever and ever and ever and ever again. There is just like they're finding, like, again, they're looking for a way to think if there's like a hidden way to kind of get back to what they want, or at least have a grip on you somehow. Okay, so I do feel like with this ace of wands in the reverse, it just doesn't feel like it's somebody that's stuck. So even if there was going to be like a new opportunity with them, you know, they don't want the new stuff as much as they want things to go back to the way they were, which I guess is wild, because when you think about it, maybe going back to the things they were is not always the best idea, because it can lead to issues. But I understand like the emotional comforts and the passion. It's probably something that they really would love to have go back to where things were. All right, so they're not completely detached from the relationship in that sense. All right, so feels like they want to escape the responsibilities part of things when it comes to the relationship or the reality of the actual breakup. They don't want to face it. They don't want to they don't want to cope. They'd rather think that there's going to be another opportunity or hope for like a new chapter of some sort. The Four of Cups here, for what do they want from you or the relationship in general? Do they want it? Do they not want it? What's going on? What's going on? So I feel like, you know, in that sense, and in terms of feelings overall, we have this Four of Cups, and it does feel like this is, again, there's a lot of emotional withdrawal. Somebody's coming across as bored, uninterested. So, you know, if the passion is not with Virgo, and if it's not going to be around Virgo, or Virgo, I don't have Virgo's attention, then not a whole lot matters. I do need to find a way to keep Virgo paying attention to me somehow, is the energy I'm getting from this person. So they're unable to detach from you. For a lot of reasons here, mainly because I feel like they think there's an opportunity. There's another delay showing up, or procrastination, not acting on something. And I really do feel like it's because they're trying to plan for something different, like a different approach. All right. So, you know, your person here could also be dealing with like their own issues here. Maybe they're thinking their emotional needs are not being addressed, like you weren't able ever understanding emotionally. They may be having a little bit of a personal fit or mental tantrum with that. All right, so so rather than considering like, okay, well, like I said, what can we do for the relationship to change or improve, it's always more about like what I want, or not want it to be back this way. And if it's not this way, then it's not measured right. And if it's not this way, it's because Virgo does not feel this way about me, versus like Virgo feels this way about me in a new way. So they're they're in a place where they're like overshadowing their own thoughts with more thoughts that are probably unrealistic. And it's signs of narcissism, you guys, because it's centering back. I shouldn't make every reading with narcissism make it out to be, but there's patterns and trends, so we can't ignore. And we can call it whatever. I can try to be like, you know, compassionate about it, but it's being highlighted more about. It's almost as though they'll never understand Virgo, but Virgo needs to be there so that Virgo can make sure that they know that they're loved by Virgo, which is weird. Okay, it's not weird in a bad way. It's just that when they're cornered with their own feelings, okay, the impact of this breakup or the impact of the situation really ends up messing with them. And they do feel like, well, maybe I should feel entitled, okay, and maybe Virgo shouldn't have done these things. So it's what's going on. It's what's going on. And like I said, with the Temperance as well, you know, in terms of like what they want from you, the relationship, and also their feelings about what they want and how they're seeing things. All right. This card signifies, generally it brings about balance, harmony, happiness, good times. This is a Sagittarius energy. There's a desire here to heal something, reconcile something. You know, at minimum, they may want to find a middle ground here to seek peace, okay, after some type of shakeup or breakup that's taking place. So after a period here, they're kind of, like I said, initially they're probably they could be in a cycle where it's like, okay, dealing and accepting, but also they're coming back to the reality where like they want to face something and heal it and correct it with you, okay? So there's an interest here in kind of, you know, bringing things from the past, but to create something better. And it's getting there, which is interesting because up here they're not seeing it that way. They're stuck in, you know, Virgo treated me this way, and if they're not going to do it again, that means they don't. Well, here they're kind of saying, well, maybe trying something new, maybe trying something different, would help. So this is somebody that's not giving up on your energy at all, Virgo, but they're still in a place where they kind of feel like you should be kind of tending to their needs, or being equally as attentive as they would be to you. So it just feels like maybe both you guys, you know, need to kind of adjust and compromise some things here, because it doesn't feel like that's what's on the mind right now. Okay, because it just seems like their mind is eaten up by like thoughts that are kind of calculating, you know, not a comeback, but calculating a way to not be completely removed from your life or be gone. Like, you know, there's always going to be some type of an essence about them that they want to make sure is present about them in your life. Excuse me, that was another burp. I've been drinking coffee all day and I'm still tired. That's the craziest thing. So, all right, y'all. Page of Cups, reverse. Why is this here? Why is this here? What does my ex see? All right. As challenges, what are the challenges? Why is the Page of Cups here as a challenge in the reverse? Page of Cups. Okay, Scorpio energy, Libra. This card usually talks about being in the flow of things, seeing things with an open mind, seeing things rationally, maturely, okay? But I feel like with the Page of Cups, excuse me, it feels like there's a sense of manipulation here, manipulating the behavior, and it shows immature conduct, I should say. But it feels like, again, this could be because there's just like a sense of dishonesty and deceit here that has played out. A lack of like genuine emotional connection is coming through. It just feels like some of you, things feel like a little, the challenge is to like really believe the feelings towards one another, which somebody could be feeling just more strongly towards the other person than vice versa. And I feel like this is somebody that kind of gets a little worked up because through emotional expressions and emotional signs of immaturity, sometimes they kind of feel like, you know, you don't fill their cup as much as they do. Maybe they feel like they give you more than you kind of ever give back. I feel like this is somebody that sees you and themselves as, you know, maybe, you know, being in a place where there's a lot of dishonesty and manipulative behavior. So it's leading to a lot of trust issues, which makes it feel like this is somebody that Virgo doesn't think that you care about them as much as they want you to, okay? So they're really, in their mind, they're convinced for some reason that, you know, these challenges are more in the way because you're resisting to either act or enable them. And it's kind of upsetting them a little bit because they're a little bit in their ego here with the Leo card. Okay, so this is a five of wands reverse. That's obviously a Leo energy. It comes across as a card that is in a negative mental thinking space, also in a place where they don't see things clearly, or they don't, it feels like, you know, they're like, you know, you guys are headbutting or just kind of, it's like something cannot flow. It can't be both good and bad. It has to just take a side, and it feels like this person is kind of in a place where they believe the things that they believe are right at this time. All right, so, and I also feel like, you know, they don't want to compete. They want to avoid competition. So they don't want to confront or deal with things when they're feeling like they have to compete for you or for your time or for something over issues. Okay, so competing over issues could equally be you thinking A, B, C, D, E, F, G of them. And, you know, they're kind of, you know, you're putting them in a place where they have to defend themselves, and they actually kind of struggle with that. All right. They don't like that feeling whatsoever. All right. So, and they don't also have a tendency to not address the problems when the problems come up. So it just feels like, you know, it's time to address the problems. It's time to see things and face them head on, but we don't really want to because my ego, and because I don't want my feelings hurt, and Virgo, because you can't keep saying these things or saying however it is that makes me feel this way, because they really 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 want to shine in your view. And you know, I feel like at some point they do have confidence when they're with you, or their confidence changes, but it feels like in the general sense they lack self-esteem a lot. All right, so with the 10 of swords in the reverse, this is Gemini energy. All right, so I feel like your ex might be hiding intentions related to closure, okay, or healing from painful situations. Maybe they don't want to express out loud the things that they feel like you've caused, the pain you've caused to them, because it could just be a pain that they don't want to expose. Okay, some of you, they worry that maybe it's in their mind, but they worry that you may treat them back the same way that they treated you, and they don't like that feeling. All right. Also, this is somebody that may not want you to know that they want to move past the pain. Okay, or that, you know, they're learning from it and they're sorry. So if there's an actual no contact for like long term, this is somebody that's really kind of going through it all, trying to kind of get themselves back on track, get themselves on the right place. All right. I do feel like this card can show some hidden desires here for a resolution, but they don't want to re-engage the drama. They don't want to bring up the pain and the problems again. So it's kind of like the fear of being seen as weak or something like that. Okay. If they express their intentions fully, they may come across as though they're vulnerable, which it's okay to feel vulnerable, but there's too much betrayal, dishonesty, and deceit. Could have been back and forth, could have been, you know, both of you trying to teach each other some lessons, taking each other through some karmic cycle, and it's just there's too much damaging. So it just feels like, why talk about the damage? But it does also feel like, why not talk about the damage, because I want Virgo to know how I feel all the time. So it's like a strong kind of conflicting energy up here. So looking ahead here, you know, potential next moves for this person towards you, Virgo, or in general. I do feel like they're awakening here to a lot of things with you, out of the picture or with during the snow contact. I feel like they may be at a certain, you know, spot here where contemplation and decision here is important for them. All right, whether to reach out or to continue the snow contact. I feel like this card is more talking about a significant decision, so leading to like to a form of communication, aimed at clarity or closure, because they kind of want something here. So it's kind of like it's like almost they want to sense it for themselves to fully give themselves the belief that it's over, but it's like they also don't want to deal with that because that could mean full closure. So they're struggling with that reality here. Okay. It's less about like immediate action and more about like the way they're going to be viewed and like the judging of things on what needs to be done. But I also feel like here, without having to bring up the past, it's going to be tough to deal with the judgment, because it is about addressing things of the past to heal and fix something. So, with the Two of Wands in the reverse here for you, something you don't see coming from this person. We have an Aries energy here. You might not anticipate this person taking a step back, maybe kind of, looking at things with a different perspective. That's something that may be a little different. So they may be reconsidering their choices, and their feelings about certain things and what they want next. Okay, so maybe they may not try to pursue 100% any involvement at this time. Maybe they're just going to be focusing on their own path in a way that maybe you weren't expecting, simply because, it may be too much, because it's kind of like they're in this conflicted state. They want to get over some things, they want to build a bridge and get over it, but then there's some things that have brought so much pain or cause things to feel so broken and damaged that it's kind of hard to avoid. So it might feel like their easier path is to kind of have you grow in their heart or stay with you. So you stay with them in their heart versus acting on it. Because with the Queen of Cups, like we're talking about earlier in the reverse, there's a caution here with emotions. Okay, so sometimes the emotions kind of get the best of us and they make the worst of us sometimes. So I feel like for you specifically, Virgo, your best thing is to protect your emotional well-being here. Don't get emotionally drawn in every single time. It could be exhausting and draining without you realizing. For those of you that have not done so, maybe setting up some boundaries, especially if you're really kind of in a place where you can't revisit the past too much or restart something with this person anytime soon. It's just not there. So having some boundaries and expectations here could be very helpful. I feel like if I was to give you any kind of a warning, just be careful of allowing manipulation to happen from you towards them or them towards you. Like avoid the emotional outbursts, because that's where manipulation starts to happen. I kind of think of that when we start to cry, and it's like, this is what I want, this is how I want it. I'm not saying this person's crying or you're crying, but it could just be like when the emotional entanglement kicks in, it becomes a little tougher here. Okay, because now we're kind of pulling in into a different source of energy, and we are kind of indirectly, we could be manipulated. And essentially this is somebody that does have it in, has hidden intentions towards you anyway, through up here. So, you know, if they know you're hooked, they're going to try to hook you in a different way. So, just be careful against gaslighting. Stay guarded. Okay, there could be some gaslighting here, so you don't want to kind of, again, get entangled into it. I can't even talk. It's the coffee. You can't get entangled in it for far too long all the time, because it doesn't yield anything, you know, strong. So I feel like this person just can't shake off the hurt. Okay, I feel like they know that you're hurting too. Maybe you miss them. All right, and I feel like, you know, they've lost themselves sometimes in the daydreams that they've had about the love that you and them had once upon a time. All right, so I feel like they miss you a lot. They don't want to run away from the truth. It's really tough for them to be honest, to be expressive, to bring you that information in a way. You know, whatever dishonesties happened, I feel like they feel haunted by it. Whether you know, they played their cards wrong, or they played you know, they chose a path that just kind of could have backfired. So I don't know. I feel like the damage feels real for them. Okay, but there's potential for healing, and I think that's what they want. All right, so Virgo, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. Let me know again what's going on with you in the comments. If the reading resonated for you, feel free to share if you want. All right, like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so again. And I love you all so much, and I'll see you very, very soon in the next one, which is about like 9 readings away. All right, bye, Virgo.